And we're recording already. Okay, so it's April 16th. So welcome. I don't have a talk per se planned. I do have a couple things I want to just touch on briefly. And then I want to do a longer practice today. Being on a retreat all weekend, I really appreciated the way we had a long time for practice. So that's what I want to give you guys today too, longer practice. Yeah, I'll say more about that as we go along. So let's just begin with our centering and grounding. Okay, so let's feel our connection with the earth. Allow the qualities of the earth to begin to enter your body and being. So we're always connected to the earth, but when we stop and pause, we feel this connection on a more awake and aware level. So maybe you feel the stillness, the openness. You can start to feel how those qualities come into your body, your being. And how they open up your spine, the back of your neck. Drawing your ears over your shoulders, opening up the back of your head, connecting you both with root, with the earth, and with the sky. And just allow your jaw to unhinge, your tongue to float in your mouth, your elbows to dangle naturally under your shoulders. And just notice how your body is breathing itself. All the pores of your body breathe. Maybe noticing any tension that is coming forward and dissolving. And then letting your breath settle in your lower belly. And then just noticing how our phrases of our mantra land for you today. Remembering that I am intrinsically good without exception, and that I've been given this precious opportunity of my unique life. I find ways to engage in daily practice in my everyday life. When I open to the vastness, stillness, silence, peace, and stability of the earth, that vastness, stillness, silence, peace, and stability opens into my body and being. Remembering that my heart is open, tender, and responsive, I enter into my relationships as part of my everyday life. And then we take a few moments here to recognize our relationships, both here in real time, the community, those of you who have the ability to be with us here in real time, who've made the time in your lives to connect with each other here today, to commit to your practice here today. And just honor each one of you and honor each one of you coming together to support each other. And then also we connect with the ancestors of our land, those who have come before us. And so I honor the ancestors of the land on which I live, the Songhees and Esquimalt nations of the Coast Salish people. And as we are about to delve into a little bit of teaching this morning, but more so practice, we give thanks to the lineage of teachers who have offered the teachings throughout the ages for us to be able to learn and model our lives after these teachings. And also for the gift of the life force energy that animates our body and gives us the energy to practice as well. So I just wanted to say a couple of things in response to some our month, this month, our focus for this month, and some things that I've noticed coming up that inherently create some confusion and inevitably create confusion. And last week we spoke about why we have the teachings, and this is why we have the teachings, so that we can remember these things. And the main thing is that we are, our focus this month, the kind of lens through which we're looking at things this month is aligned awareness. And to remember that we are always already aligned and aware. We just, it's almost like a forgetting, or, we have these coverings or ideas, our beliefs, our thoughts about things cause us to believe that we're not aligned, or that we have to do something to become aligned. But really, at our essence is aligned. We are aligned. And we have these practices which allow us to recognize that alignment with a lot more ease, I think. So that's the first thing, is that it's not that we are out of alignment. It's just that we have these ideas and beliefs about things that make us believe that we're not. And so there's really nothing we need to do, but the practices do help us uncover what's already there, which is our inherent alignment with our true nature. And so when we uncover it, then the expression of our true nature is able to come forward without impingement. So that's the first thing that I wanted to make sure is really clear. And then this really ties in as well, which is that often language can get tricky. And when we read our mantra each day, or when we come to the community, or maybe you don't read it each day, maybe you hear it each week, we say something. We say each week, or each time you read the mantra, you get this message, remembering that my heart is open, tender, and responsive. And I think, we have this kind of idea about what that means. So we have our ideas and beliefs about what open, tender, and responsive means. And, there's a kind of romantic notion about what open, tender, and responsive means, and about what the heart should be like. And these are just ideas and beliefs, and they're widely held by the popular culture. And also there's a kind of series of popular beliefs that are held by spiritual communities too, right? You know, that my heart should be, and I can even use the same words, that my heart should be really open, and I should always be loving, and I should always be kind, and I should be, you know, tender. And so it gets confusing. It gets confusing. And this is why the view is important. This is why the teachings are important, because when we say open, tender, and responsive, we mean something. There's a whole set of teachings that go behind it. And I think sometimes we forget about that. So when we say our heart is open, we mean that our heart is open to what's happening without a filter. So often what happens in our day-to-day lives is that you know, something happens and we shut down, and that's okay too. You know, that's okay too. That's not a problem, actually. So what is a problem is that when we shut down to our shutting down, right? So say something happens and like a difficult relationship. Let's take a difficult relationship, for example. So something happens and you have expectations. There's the first problem, really, right? You have expectations about how it should be. And it doesn't pan out that way. And you know, you start to shut down. But then you start to shut down and judge your own shutting down, right? There's another whole layer of shutting down instead of being open to your shutting down. So there's instead of being open to the initial relationship issue, which is like, you know what, this relationship is troubled. You know, it's not, you know, not all relationships are going to be harmonious and kind and fluid and, you know, energetically easy. Some things are going to have friction and trouble, and then we open to the friction and the trouble, right? And if that's the case and we find ourselves disappointed by that, then we open to our disappointment, right? And there might be a grieving of the disappointment. There might be some grief around the disappointment. There might be some frustration, and then we open to our frustration, right? But it's when we turn away from these things that the tension starts to arise in our body, right? That we start to feel the, you know, it's going to be different for everybody, right? But maybe you start to get the jaw clenching, or the shoulders rising up, or the arming right around the chest and the heart, or the closing in, right? But open just means, it doesn't mean I love everybody, everything's fantastic, I hug everybody, we all get along, right? Which is, you know, I hear this kind of speak in the yoga world and in some communities quite often. It means that we're open to what's actually happening. And sometimes what's actually happening is that there's conflict, there's tension, there's not a smooth exchange of energy in the difficult relationship. And then we open to that, and we open to our response to that. And so open, tender, responsive. That's open. Tender, you know, that word also has a lot of connotations, and I could look it up in the dictionary and read you the dictionary definition if I had taken the time to prepare this talk for you. But instead, I allowed myself time to integrate the retreat and a slow integration into my life again. But I imagine if I looked up tender in the dictionary, tender would say, you know, soft and gentle and kind. It would be that kind of a definition. That would be what tender means. But, you know, what our teachings tell us about tender, and this is why the view is important, is that tender means we know intuitively what needs to happen, right? And we learn this the reason why we do the practices like 10 points and earth descent and yin breathing, coming into our body, doing the yin yoga practice, I think is very useful for this, as well as is yoga nidra. You know, the way we start to really connect with knowing intuitively what needs to happen is by fully inhabiting our body, central channel breathing too, you know. And then when we're fully inhabiting our body, you know, from deep within, there's this imperative that comes forward that says, okay, you know, this needs to happen. And this might be so I'll give you an example from this weekend. Example of when I listened, an example of when I didn't listen. So I'm with my dear Sangha members all weekend, right? And I love them dearly. And they talk a lot, the ones that I hang out with. They talk more than they listen. And I'm so excited to be with them that I give them more of my time than my body's telling me to give them. But I'm like, it's been so long since I've been with them. I need to spend, I need to spend time with them, right? And so on the Saturday night, ego mind, spent more time with them than my body was saying, like, you've had enough, than I needed, right? So that was like not listening to my body. That was not listening to the cues that were coming from my body of like, I can't even understand what they're saying anymore because I'm like on so much overwhelm here because it's just been so much talking. So that's an example of not being tender with myself, right? Not listening to those cues that were clearly coming from my body. Then the next day, thankfully, we meditated all morning, and then it came to lunch. And our teacher, Neil, said, now we spent the whole morning in meditation, and I want you to really just check in and see what you need right now, right? So there was a lot of permission given here. He said, what do you need right now? And, maybe at lunch you need to go for a quiet walk. Maybe, just see, we've been doing a lot of heart meditations. See what the heart needs. And my heart was like, yeah, you need to sit alone and not listen to anybody. And so I did. So that was, really listening to that call, right? And actually a few people actually came to me in my quiet place, but still, there was that, they were tuned in enough at that point too, to just touch in and then go on their way as well. So there's often it takes not listening to know what not listening feels like, to listen, to feel. So it's very helpful coming up against tension as well, because it shows you what not tension feels like as well. It shows you what it feels like when you are tender, when you do respond intuitively, when you are in touch with that openness as well, right? And then, so open, tender. So does that give you a better idea of what tender means? Yeah. So it doesn't mean like, I'm just loving everybody. Because sometimes it means stepping back and not loving everybody. I mean, because that can be the best thing. And then responsive means then we respond to that tenderness, right? To that, the message that the tenderness is bringing forward. So I just wanted to bring that forward because it had come up last week. And I think a lot of times we can get caught up in that language of, I need to be more tender. And yes, you probably do, but maybe not in the way you think. And know that you are always already tender. It's just that we cover up our tenderness with our ideas about how things should be. So in my example, my ideas are, I only have this weekend. I don't get to see them very often. I should spend time with these people, right? But clearly my body is telling me something else, right? My body had told me when I'd had enough. So open, tender, responsive. And we're always already aligned and aware and awake. Wow, that was a pretty good talk for not having one prepared. So maybe you know what, I am going to open it up for responses and questions just in case there are any before we do practice, and then we'll do some practice. Clear, huh? Okay, I'm glad it's clear. All right, if there's nothing bubbling to the surface, then we'll do practice. Okay, let's do practice. We're going to start lying down. I want to see how much I can take you through. My intention is to combine some somatic meditation with some yoga nidra, but we'll see how it goes as we go along. We'll see what happens. So have all your resources available for lying down and sitting up. I'll see how my time goes. So you're lying on your back with your knees bent and your feet flat on the floor. And adjust the position of your feet so that your low back is comfortable, so your hips are comfortable. Tuck your shoulder blades underneath you. Place your palms on your belly, your elbows heavy on the ground. Close your eyes. Let the focus come inwards. You want to feel your 2 feet, the 2 sides of your buttocks, your mid-back, your 2 shoulder blades, your 2 elbows, and the back of your head on the ground. And then feel the support of the earth underneath you. Just take a moment to feel that connection with the earth. Letting your body settle. Allowing your body to release and relax into the earth. And then bring your awareness to your feet. So it's this is what we were talking about in the talk today. Your feet are already aware. So open to the awareness that's already in your feet. It's not anything you have to do. And the same thing when we breathe into the big toes. Your skin is the largest organ in your body, and all the pores of your skin breathe. So part of this meditation that we do is letting go of the doing self and noticing, opening to what's already happening. So feel into the big toes. Notice how all the pores of the big toes are breathing. And follow the breath into the big toes. And know that each time you do this, you're heightening your sensitivity and your awareness. And you'll be able to feel more and more. So just see what you notice as you follow the breath into the big toes. Notice what you can feel through the pores of the skin into the bone, the difference between the toenail, the skin, the bone. And it doesn't matter how much or how little you sense and feel. Just notice whatever sensations are present. And notice how the awareness that's already in the big toe will start to reveal tension. Maybe holding and gripping. And that, again, without you even doing anything, the tension will just drain downward into the earth. Then you open to the awareness that already exists in your second toe. Becoming aware of the pores in the skin of the second toe that are already breathing in. Following the breath into the second toe. Letting your breath draw you into the experience of the awareness of the second toe. Noticing what tension is being revealed there. And also just the natural way that tension is dissolved. And then just noticing your third toe. Following the breath in to the tension, the holding and gripping. And then the way that tension dissolves and lets go. And then noticing all the pores on the skin on the fourth toe, the way the fourth toe breathes itself, following the breath in. Feeling the tension and noticing the way the tension dissolves and let go. And finally, the baby toe. Following your breath in through all the pores on the baby toe. Allowing the unique experience of the baby toe to reveal itself. Letting the baby toe reveal its tension and holding. And then let that tension just release down into the earth. And we'll come back to all 5 toes. Breathing in through all the pores of the skin of all 5 toes. Just noticing how that's already happening. Following the breath in, noticing the tension, any remaining tension, releasing and letting go. So from there, we'll move into the foot, behind the toes, the ball of the foot, breathing in through all the pores of the skin, following the breath in. Noticing the subtle releases of tension. Moving up to the arch of the foot, following the breath in. Feeling the top of the foot, the sides of the feet, the middle of the foot. Feeling the complex and dense layers. As you follow the breath in and follow the release of tension down and into the earth. And then the heel and the Achilles and the ankle. Breathing in through the pores of the skin, following the breath in. And feeling the density. So density or where you feel like there's no movement, you can stay there because that's a kind of sensation as well. That's a kind of tension. So you can become curious about that. Follow the breath in through the skin in that area. And just be really patient while areas that may feel asleep or like nothing's happening, just allow that area to reveal itself to you. Then you're breathing in through all the pores of the feet and the ankles. And you may notice that tension is releasing elsewhere in your body as well, maybe through your legs, your buttocks, your pelvis. Just keep expanding your awareness up through your whole lower leg, breathing into the bones and the shins, the fleshy parts of the calf muscle, following the breath in, following the release of tension. So one thing my teacher kept saying this weekend, and it was really helpful to me, he kept saying when he was guiding us through the meditations, was never, never give up. And this the way the breath is happening through the skin is already happening. And as we practice, our capacity to receive what is happening is expanding. So we can trust in that process. We can trust that the neural pathways to receive the capacity for what is happening is expanding. We are already open. And we simply have to align with that openness. So when we rest back and open to the awareness of what's already happening, we will eventually tune into the process. And then feel your buttocks where they're resting against the ground. Notice any gripping or clenching or holding, and just let that go. And then follow the breath in through the hips, through the buttocks, through the pelvis, into the pelvic girdle. And feel the tightness and the holding here. Just let that dissolve down and into the earth. Feeling the breath coming right into the pelvic floor, all the tension right around the perineum. Again, as you're releasing tension through your pelvis, you may feel tension releasing in your shoulder girdle. And then follow your breath in through your knees and your legs, in through the dense layers of the tissues of the muscles and the bones, through your knees, through your legs. Notice the tension that's revealed and allow it to just slide down through the upper legs, through the pelvis and into the earth. And then breathing in through all the pores of the lower abdomen. Feeling the tension along the abdominal wall, the abdominal organs. Giving your body time for that tension to dissolve. Breathing in through the pores of the skin of your torso, through the rib cage, in through all the internal organs, the lungs. Noticing the tension that's revealed. Let that tension be released down and into the earth. Feel your shoulder blades heavy on the ground. Feel your breath coming in through the backs of your shoulder blades. Through the layers of your upper chest. Noticing the tension in the upper lobes of the lungs, up through the collarbones, the upper rib cage. And follow the tension as it dissolves down and into the earth. Feel your elbows heavy on the ground. Breathing in through all the pores of your hands, your wrists, and your forearms. Letting that tension drain down through your elbows and into the earth. And breathing in through all the pores of your shoulders, your neck, the back of your neck. Letting all that tension drain down through your elbows and into the earth. And then finally your head, following your breath in through the skin, through the skull, through the tension between your eyebrows, your eyes, your temples, your brain. And then letting that tension dissolve. And then following your breath into the pores, in through the pores of your skin, of your whole body. Allowing your body to reveal the tension and letting that tension dissolve down and into the earth. And then begin to breathe into your lower belly, finding a point midway between your perineum and your navel, right towards the back of your body. And feel your breath coming in to your lower belly, almost as if it's breathing right directly into that space. So you're breathing directly into the space between your perineum and your navel, towards the back of your spine. Feeling the breath coming into your lower belly. And as you breathe out, let your lower belly, let your body completely relax around the space in your lower belly. So your lower belly is relaxing, your sacrum's relaxing, your hips relax. Breathing in, the breath is coming in very gently, very peacefully, and your whole body around it is relaxing. Feeling the breath coming directly into the lower belly. It's as if there's a nostril or a straw directly coming into your lower belly. Allowing all your attention, all your awareness to settle in your lower belly. There's a sense that this space in your lower belly is opening. And each time you breathe in, you become more and more present to the space in your lower belly. You can let go of the outside more and more. In fact, any distractions that come up, you can let them dissolve into this space in the lower belly. And that way you become more and more present in the lower belly. And the outside can be simply fall away. So there's a sense that this space in the lower belly is opening up, that you're dissolving into the space in the lower belly. And any kind of obstacles or thoughts or debris or distractions are moving out of that space, just dissolving outwards. So the space itself is becoming more and more pure, more and more empty, more and more peaceful, more and more dark. And each time you breathe in, you follow the breath to the very center of the space. So that everything you are, all your sense of self, all your sense of consciousness and awareness enter into this space in the lower belly. So it may feel very soft and fluid, clear and empty. And when your mind wanders, you simply come back and follow your breath into the space in the lower belly. And even just let the wandering or the thoughts follow into the space in the lower belly too. So that everything rests in the lower belly. And you rest in this space in the lower belly so completely that it's like everything is dissolving into this dark, open, and warm space. So now that we've surrendered all our senses that scan and track our waking world, and we've really opened our internal sense of awareness, and we're feeling the way our body's resting on the earth, we're breathing into our lower belly. We're going to begin to scan our awareness through our body now. So we're going to enter into the Yoga Nidra practice now. So maybe a little bit more fluid scanning of awareness. Become aware of your right lung, your right armpit, the inside of your upper arm, your elbow crease, the inside of your lower arm, the bend of your inner right wrist, the tip of your right thumb, the tip of your right index finger, the back of your right wrist, the back of your right lower arm, your right elbow, your right upper arm, your right collarbone. Breathe into the hollow of your throat. Feel your breath at your nostrils. Feel your breath in your belly. Notice your left lung, your left armpit, the inside of your upper arm, your left elbow crease, the inside of your lower arm, the bend of your wrist, the tip of your thumb, your left index finger, the back of your wrist, your left lower arm, the back of your elbow, your left upper arm, your left collarbone. Breathe into the hollow of your throat. Feel your breath at your nostrils. Become aware of your right eye, your right cheekbone, the corner of your right lip, your right jowl, the right side of your throat, your right collarbone, your right rib cage, the right side of your belly, the front of your right leg, your right kneecap, your right shin, the top of your right foot, the tip of your second toe. Become aware of your left eye, your left cheekbone, the corner of your left lip, your left jowl, the left side of your throat, your left corner collarbone, your left rib cage, the left side of your belly, the front of your left thigh, your left kneecap, your left shin, the top of your left foot, and the tip of the second toe. Notice the inside of the big toe, the inside of the left foot, your left ankle bone, the inside of the lower left leg, your inner thigh, your left lower abdomen, your left rib cage, and breathe into the hollow of the left armpit. Become aware of the inside big right toe, the inside of the right foot, your right ankle bone, the inside of the lower left leg, your inner thigh, your right lower abdomen, your right rib cage, and breathe into the right armpit. Breathe into your heart center. Breathe into your armpit on the right side, the inside of your upper right arm, the inner bend of the right elbow, the inside of the lower right arm, the inside of the right wrist, the right little finger, the back of the right little finger, the back of the right hand, the back of the right wrist, the outside of the lower arm, the right elbow, the right upper arm, the right shoulder blade, the back of the neck, the right ear, the right cheek, and rest in the inner corner of the right eye. Breathe into the heart center. Notice the left armpit, the inside of the upper arm, the inner bend of the elbow, the lower left arm, the inside of the wrist, the lower left finger, the back of the left finger, the back of the left hand, the back of the left wrist, the lower arm, the left elbow, the left upper arm, the left shoulder blade, the left side of the neck, the left ear, the left cheek, and rest in the inner corner of the left eye. Rest in the inner corner of the right eye. Notice the inside of the right eyebrow, the top of the head, the back of the head, the occipital ridge, spine, sacrum, right sit bone, upper leg, right knee, lower leg, right ankle, outer ankle bone, outside of the foot, and right pinky toe. Notice the inner corner of the left eye, the inside of the left eyebrow, the top of the head, the back of the head, the occipital ridge, spine, sacrum, left sit bone, back of the leg, back of the knee, lower leg, left ankle, outside of the ankle bone, outside of the left foot, and left pinky toe. Become aware of the bottom of the left foot, the inside left ankle bone, the lower left leg, the upper left leg, the left side of the belly, the left side of the rib cage, and the left collarbone. Become aware of the bottom of the right foot, the inside right ankle bone, the inside lower right leg, the inside upper right leg, the right side of the belly, the right rib cage, and the right collarbone. Breathe into your heart center. Notice your right armpit, the inside of your upper arm, the bend of your right elbow, your lower right arm, your inner right wrist, the palm of your hand, and the tip of your middle finger. Tip of your ring finger, back of your right hand, back of your right wrist, lower arm, right elbow, back of your upper arm, back of your neck, and space behind your right ear. Breathe into your heart center. Notice your left armpit, the inside of your upper arm, the bend of your left elbow, the inside of your lower arm, the inner bend of your left wrist, the palm of your hand, the tip of your left middle finger, the tip of your left ring finger, the back of your left hand, the back of your left wrist, the back of your left lower arm, your left elbow, the back of your left upper arm, the back of your left neck, and the space behind your left ear. Notice your left temple, your left ear, the top of your left shoulder, left side ribs, left side waist, outside of the left hip, outside of the left upper leg, outside of the lower leg, outside left ankle bone, and left baby toe. Notice the inside of the big left toe, inside of the left foot, inner ankle, inner lower leg, inner thigh, pubic bone, left side of the belly, left side of the rib cage. Breathe into the hollow of the throat. Rest in the left corner of the eye. Notice the right temple, the right ear, the top of the right shoulder, right side ribs, right side waist, outside of the right hip, upper leg, outside of the lower leg, outside ankle bone, right baby toe. Inside of the big toe, inside of the foot, right ankle, inner lower leg, inner thigh, pubic bone, right side of the belly, right side of the ribs. Breathe into the hollow of the throat. And rest in the right eye. Feel your whole body being breathed. And rest beyond the space through which all experiences come and go, where there's nothing to do, nothing to accomplish, nothing left to complete, nothing you need to get, nowhere you need to be, and nothing you need to know. And slowly, slowly come back from the depths. Let your transition be very gentle and easy. Open and close your eyes a few times. And soak up the embodiedness, the beingness of the experience, and bring it with you to your waking world, to your seated experience. We're going to come back to circle when you're ready. Okay, so that was a good 45 minutes. We did some 10 points, followed by some yin breathing, and then we went into just the body scan portion of Yoga Nidra. So I pretty much dropped everything else. I just did, we just scanned our awareness through the body because I was kind of curious what would happen if we did all that time of releasing tension and opening up the space in the belly, and then went into the energy pathways.
Just at the end of that, after you'd done the energy pathways, I felt quite a strong buzzing in the whole of my body, but I felt as though I was above my body, and it was the whole bit that was buzzing was actually the bit that was above my body. And I was so aware of it, and it was just really, really buzzy, but it was outside of me completely.
So that makes me think of, like, I know it's the way they're depicted, but it makes me think of one of the sheaths, right? One of the energy bodies.
That's just what it felt like.
Yeah.
Like I was doing earth descent into my buttocks at one point.
You did earth descent?
Felt like I was going like when you do earth descent, but it felt like when I was going in deep into my buttocks. My buttocks, felt that dropping into the muscles of my buttocks.
That's how Neil's been teaching earth descent lately, is through yin, and then we go down through there. It's actually a very easy way to get in.
I felt that earth descent feeling in the lower belly. Definitely, it opened like a huge space.
Yeah, it's a portal, so. It's interesting because I was going to do earth descent then, but then I was like, well, if I get you guys all the way down there, then what am I going to do with you? And I also just didn't have the time. And they're down the earth, and then
left us till next Monday.
Yeah, I got to kind of think my way around this a bit. Maybe the order needs to be changed, like 10 points, then the going through the body, then breathing, then earth descent. I don't know. I've just been kind of curious about crossing these practices over, because a lot of you have been talking about the influence between the two for you.
Yeah, I don't know what just happened, but
Me neither.
but like total emptiness revealed itself in the body, and I thought it was fascinating to start with like just like, I forget how you said it, Melissa, but breathing, feeling the pores breathing, not just doing the breathing, just really, especially like back here, just breathing, using the pores just to feel. Yeah.
Yeah, it's our body's already breathing. Like, it's something that happens automatically, and yet we manipulate it so much. So it's a way that we can actually drop back from doing and just observe what's happening more. And also stop the head from doing it and observe what's happening in various parts of our body, I think.
I was very surprised at how my body could stay as relaxed as it was after 10 points and still follow the Yoga Nidra so fully. I would have thought that when I was that deeply relaxed that I couldn't do it. So it was it was wonderful that I could still like go through the whole Yoga Nidra and not tense my body. It was that relaxed.
Yeah, because I think this is a really good point, right? The Yoga Nidra doesn't need the you or the I, right? There's a part of you that, and this actually goes right back to the top, right? It goes back to the part of you that's always already aware. And that's the part that's also always already relaxed. And that's the part that's able to go through the Yoga Nidra. It's like not something you have to do. Mm-hmm. The part that wants to do it is going to tense up. And that's, I think, why these practices are useful, because then we're able to have these experiences where we experience the non-doing part having the experience. And that becomes possible. Then once we have that experience, we know that's possible in other areas of our life as well. And to take that into our conversation, right? That we can even be open to tension, to when relationships aren't going the way we want them to be, that we can open to that we can open to our own disappointment, we can open to the way we shut down, and, you know.
I think that's where it's going to be really, really helpful for me to feel it off the mat. It's such deep, deep work.
Right. And openness doesn't mean that we're always tension free either, right? It means that we're open to when we tense as well, right?
Yeah, we're aware of it.
Yeah. Because that would set up a whole other belief that we need to always be tension free. And then that would just create a wreck of a situation, really. Because if we show up on our cushion and what's happening, or on our meditation mat or on our yoga mat, and what's happening is that there's tension in our body, we're like, wow, what's supposed to be happening is relaxation. Well, that's not true, right? What's supposed to be happening is what's happening. Mm. And sometimes that's pain in my shoulder, pain in my back. And then if I'm like, well, I'm supposed to be having this blissed out experience and that's not happening, then I'm probably going to quit meditation.
And that's the interesting part of a longer meditation, I think. The first part for me was really relaxing. I was far away, and in the other sections I was far more aware of my body. Even I had to move a little bit, and normally I don't need it, and now I really had to lie down my legs and put them up again, and my hands were warm, and I began to ache the back of my body. So it was good that it's not one thing happening. There's happening a lot when you have so much time to feel.
Yeah, there's more range of experience.
Yeah.
That's a truer it's a truer, I don't know, it's truer to life too, right? Which is that you're going to have a range of experience. You're going to have some bliss. You're going to have some, well, what is it? It's like Bliss and Grits. That's the name of their podcast. And everything in between.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The whole enchilada.
Yeah, you're going to be bored. You're going to sleep through some of it. Yeah. So thank you for your practice today.
Mm-hmm.
And thanks for this weekend. It was good. I really enjoyed having this weekend to go and have a full weekend of practice myself. I learned it was really good to have that intense refresher too. I really enjoyed that. So thank you. And I decided, I was like, oh, I'm going to try and fit in a class somewhere. And I decided I'm not. The live class, yeah. I think it's more useful not to, and to have that time for me to absorb the teachings I think it's more valuable.
Good decision. Mm.
Feels like a good decision. Mm-hmm. Okay, so thank you for being here today. I do want to acknowledge that it's a commitment to be here, and it's time out of your life and organizing your lives, and it takes discipline to be here. And the practice is cumulative, and each time you show up, each time you practice, the effects of the practice compound, and by being here, you get the effects of that practice. And I really admire that you make this time, and that you show up for yourselves in this way. So thank you. Namaste. Have a good week, everybody. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.